Well, we are back once more for another special edition of NBL Now, Rucker versus Lowery. I'm Jack Heverin. My job is to try and conduct traffic between the chaos of these two. And, well, we're back because we're talking Game 5, which for many people didn't think was going to happen. But here we are, Illawarra with a win full of all sorts of intestinal fortitude that we're going to talk about. Incredible night last night at John Cain Arena, and all roads now lead to Sunday at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Derek Rucker, I'm going to introduce you first because I think you seem a lot fresher than your co-host.
Thank you. And funny how the tables have turned based on a little Illawarra Hawk victory in Game 4. But, Jack, what a moment it was. It's probably one of the most stressful games I've ever been involved with as a non-player. And you could just feel that energy, the tenseness of the United players, the apprehension in the United fan base. It just had all of this energy that was really hard to understand. And the way it played out, it kind of matched what the fans were giving. They wound up going home with an L.
And the man alongside you, well, last night, he absolutely relished the win, as he should as well. Really enjoyed himself. We saw him with the bucket hat on the broadcast. And then my understanding is that post-game, Derek, that Damon Lowery's night was a bit like that Chumbawamba song. He drank the whiskey drink, he drank the lager drink, he drank the cider drink, and he started singing songs that reminded him of all the good times.
Oh man, it was some celebrations were had. Man, it's a reunion. It was just the camaraderie. Former championship teammates showed up, made the effort along with their wives, who were their girlfriends 24 years ago. Now they're their wives. Children who have grown up. It was 18 of us, Jack and Derek, 18 of us strong, man. And I tell you, walking to the game, just the build up from a Hawk fan's perspective, it was like we were walking into a lion's den. We walk in, it's like, look at this place. It's completely sold out in here. It is nothing but Melbourne United supporters, and it is just a handful, just a chunk of Hawk supporters. And that's, it was kind of how we like it. Like, yes, us against all of them. That's how we felt. And the game didn't live up to great. It wasn't great from, the theatrical, I guess, point of view. From the optics wasn't very great. Very low score in the first half. You could tell both teams had a little bit of jitters. But I could tell the desperation the Hawks had. And namely, that damn Davo Hickey, man. We got to talk about him.
Yeah. We'll get to Davo Hickey very shortly. Damon, put the X's and O's aside for a second here. Just talk as a championship winner with Illawarra. The pride that you have in your team today. I think only you are going to be able to put that into words.
Yeah, it's one of those feelings where, y'all stand up and you kind of got that band of brothers vibe, and it's just like backs against the wall. There's always got to be the gritty, grimy way for a Hawks to get it done. It's never going to be just glamorous. It's got to just be tough. That's how the city is. That's how the people are there. That's how the players, they're Hawk-type players. There's qualities I feel that they have, and that win encapsulated everything that it is to be a Hawk. Trey, you don't play with your starting guard, Trey Kell, first-team All-NBL. Then your second-team All-NBL guy, Sam Frauden, goes down in the second quarter, and you're sitting around thinking, how much worse can it be? But yet, there's no quit. There's no folding. There's no throwing in the towel. It's just like this. Just rally and find a way. And, man, it's just nothing but all our chests were poked out last night, Jack. So credit to the Hawks for getting it done, and it's not over.
Well, Damon, I'm not sure what you were celebrating so hard for last night. Was it the fact that you were reunited with your fellow championship winners, or you think this series is over? Because I might warn you, if you think this series is over, that Melbourne United are going to go into Illawarra with the same level of back against the walls mentality that you described the Hawks had. So let's not get in front of ourselves. I told Jack in the fourth quarter last night that I am out of the predictions game. I don't do predictions anymore. I'm 0 for 4 in this series. I'm done. I can't decide what's going on in this series. It's schizophrenic. Guys play great one night. The next night, you can't find them. They fade into mediocrity. What's going on in this series right now, though? If I had to lean one way, Damon, I would lean the Hawkey way. I think they just got a slight edge. No, don't try. No, no, no. I'm just leaning a little bit.
Now, Derek, unlike the Illawarra Hawks, they don't have quit in them like you just quit with your predictions. There's no quit in this particular group. Now, we're celebrating because you have to celebrate the minor victories as well. I mean, this is back against the wall stuff. Now, not just in a metaphorical sense, like, okay, well, if we lose, the championship is over. I'm talking about we don't even have the horses. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, Shea Illy is out. Major, major piece. For the Hawks to go down, those two big pieces, two of your starters, first team and second team All-NBL guys, that is a whole different kind of a vibe. In the still response, I'm going to ask you this question, Derek. What do you trust more? Do you trust what Melbourne United are capable of on their day? Or do you trust the resilience that the Hawks continue to show?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would put that question alongside the experience of the collective of Melbourne United versus the youth and the energy of Illawarra. And I think in both instances, I'm going to side with Illawarra. And Jack, we always talk about the trend being your friend. This away winning trend must end. We can't run the table with away teams winning. I just can't see it happening. But then I'm so reluctant to go against the trend. I'm so twisted and confused right now. I don't know what to think of this damn series.
Is there any chance that you could get off the fence? Like, could you just?
No, Jack. No, Jack. No. I have a lot of problems right now trying to work this thing out. I like clarity. I don't function well in gray areas. And this series between games is just so great. And we're not getting any decisiveness basically to the final minute of the basketball game, which is great for the viewers, but not great for my personal basketball business.
So the concern I wonder perhaps from an Illawarra perspective here is, have they played their grand final? Have they, last night, well, it took everything that they possibly could. Are either of you a little bit concerned about the emotional letdown or whatever you want to call it, that they may have played their best game last night?
I'm not at all, because you know why, Damon? That head coach, Justin Tatum, he's full of energy. He created a little cocoon. He created an us against the world type thing. I think he would go so far to pit you against your own family members. He's trying to win this chip. And I thought he did a great job, not only with that galvanizing his team, but I thought his strategy, the way he instantly made the adjustment defensively once Sam Froling wasn't available, and how they attacked offensively, I thought he was brilliant in Game 4.
Sports has a way of providing you with excuses if you want to use them. Sport can say, well, look, you guys on the road. Melbourne United have already suffered a championship series defeat. It's probably their time to kind of rectify that. Hawks, you don't know what it's like yet. Oh, and you don't have Trey Kell. Oh, and you lost Sam Froling. Here's some excuses for you guys. Nobody would think any less of you. Justin Tatum will not buy that, and this team won't buy it. I'm looking in the eyes of Mason Peatling and Davo Hickey and Toddy Blanchfield, Daniel Greta. These dudes are looking like, man, this ain't over with. Like, are you counting us out? Do so at your own peril. Now, one thing that the Hawks have that's consistent, and first let me go back. Melbourne United, what's consistent about those guys are their three, Delly, Ian Clark, Chris Goldie. Those three guys, you can count on them night in, night out. Rob Lowe, don't know. Marcus Lee, don't know. Jack White, don't know. Kyle Bowen, don't know. You see where I'm going with this. But with the Illawarra Hawks, you can trust their energy and their bench productivity. You know when HJ leaves the floor, he's going to make a shot. You can believe that. You know when Davo Hickey hits the floor, you get full 100% all-out activity. You just Lachlan Albrick, my God, you know what you're going to get from these dudes. So even though they're inexperienced, they're consistent in the effort that they bring.
What's the body language, Derek, post-game of Melbourne United? I thought that was going to be really interesting. And Chris Golding was the one, as the leader of that team, who almost tried to just get them smiling again. And there'll be some people who look at the world black and white and say, why are they smiling? They just lost Game 4 of the series. But it seemed as though that was Chris's way of trying to just paint the picture that we're not done yet. We're going to go and handle our business on Sunday and win it. We're just going to have to win it away. So we've spoken a lot about the Illawarra mindset right now. What is the Melbourne United mindset, do you think?
Well, Dean Vickerman is an outstanding coach. We understand that he's also an outstanding leader of men, and he'll be able to get his team ready from an X's and O's perspective. But what's the mindset going to be like? And I think that responsibility falls to the leadership group of that team. Deli, Golding, Clark, Jack White. And now Jack White's going to have to find the resolve, even though he hasn't been performing well, to still be a leader. And that's when your leadership is particularly challenged. When you are not performing well on the court, you still got to get people to follow you. But Jack, there's another opponent in this series now. Melbourne United are playing against the Illawarra Hawks. But guess who else has entered the chat? The ghosts of NBL 24 Championship Series. They must deal with those demons. And we started to see them arise last night. How can they work through it? The scarring is there, Damon. You cannot deny it. And the power of the mind is significant, and they've got to overcome all of those memories of last season and the fresh memories of what we saw Wednesday night to try and go down to the gong and get this victory and bring back the trophy.
It feels weird even talking about Melbourne United like this, considering how we were speaking about them after Game 3 with the Jack White game, but that was also coupled with the Ian Clark, the Deli, and the Chris Golding game. So now, when you talk about the psyche, you've already went to Wollongong and stole one game. Nobody expects to steal 3 games. Okay, you went there and stole 2. You had everything riding on ending this series right now. You talk about an emotional letdown, where the Hawks was thinking, we just got to get back home. Melbourne United are thinking, we gotta stay right here and not leave this place. So all the pressure, the longer that game went on and the closer it got and the way they couldn't make a shot, you could see that everybody's getting a little bit tighter. And certain individuals in that team really tightened up. Now, those are the same guys there that Melbourne United are going to need to win. We know what Golding is going to do. Pencil Golding, Deli, and Ian Clark in for 50 points between the 3 of them. 45 to 50 points between the 3 of them. Where's the rest of the points going to come from? They scored 21 points outside of those 3. Now, can Jack White sack it up one more time? Yes, he's capable of it, but to be able to do it in a different environment now, we're going to find out.
And the bottom line is Illawarra have primarily dominated those games in the gong. They just had flameouts, and those flameouts were damaging in the fourth quarter. But if you take that away, okay, if they can perform like we've seen them over the first 3 quarters of the game down in Illawarra, and then bring to the party what we saw last night in the fourth quarter in Game 4, the situation's going to be different. But as you say, Melbourne United, they're going to play a super high level of intense defense, and the Hawks are going to have to display the same level of discipline on the offensive end that we saw at the end of Game 4.
Before we try and predict what's going to happen Sunday, and good luck trying to do that, but, well, actually, it'll just be you and I, Damon, because Derek's out of the prediction game, apparently, so it'll just be you and I. We should, as you pointed out earlier, we should take a moment to talk Will Hickey. We said it in the broadcast last night. This is a guy that was told no by Melbourne United. He was told no by Southeast Melbourne. He had to go to the NBL 1 level and get an opportunity with the Illawarra Hawks. He now has a 3-year deal. He took Melbourne apart in Game 2 of the semi-final series last year. And then last night was a career-high night. I mean, I don't think there's a person in Australian basketball not barracking for Will Hickey right now.
That you develop a whole different kind of resolve when you got to go the route that Will Hickey is taking. He didn't come through the front door or the back door. It might have been a crack in the side window. He had to crawl through, cut himself, scrape himself all up to get where he is right now. And let me just give a quick little backstory on Will Hickey. Will Hickey played his first for Australia in the 2023 Asia Cup 3x3 with his teammate Todd Blanchfield. I didn't know Will Hickey at all. Obviously, commentating some of their games, I got to see him, from a commentator's point of view. But in Singapore, I got to actually spend time with Will. And I'm telling you, his spirit is something about this dude that if you around him for 5 minutes, it's just something about him. He's got this air, and people just are drawn to him. I could see the way even his 3x3 teammates were. So to see him, he is a leader of that team because he does it the right way. He didn't do it like he didn't have the Delhi route. Go to a nice university, go to NBA, be a champion. And that's no disrespect to Delhi at all because he's a champion. But the Will Hickey route is perfect for this particular team. It doesn't suit everybody, but every team needs that type of a guy that can galvanize an entire team.
Well, that was a cute story, Damon. But Jack, for future reference, cute, very nice, but quick is 30 seconds or less, okay? We got things to do here, all right? Will Hickey was devastating, and I love the fact, Damon, that he figured out how to attack the bigs. He took that off the plate of Dean Vickerman in the fourth quarter. Now, I thought there were some strategy things where Melbourne United didn't get the depth right when he was penetrating at them. But nevertheless, Hickey kept aggressive with his push. And I thought his offensive triggering in that fourth quarter was the key. He was the one that set up Days for that big dagger three. He was the one that kept gathering the guys in dead ball situations. And I said in the lead up to game 4, they needed leadership. I love the fact that Hickey said, you know what? That's me. I'll take that. I'll be the leader.
That's 100% now, except for that little slight that you just gave, that cute little story. But Davo, you talk about the captains. There's captains and then there's leaders. Trey Kell and Sam Frawley, captains of the club, great faces, great people to maybe put up in the press conference and do all that kind of stuff. But when it's time to get in the mud, give me Davo Hickey. And like you said, he played with poise. He could have came down and blazed away. He's heard the stories that if he scores 20 points, they lose. And Dave Vickerman wants him to take quick shots. I watched Davo pushing in transition, get there, slow down, bring it back out, pick out the right guy. That is from a second-year pro who just plays off of instinct and the vibe. The more his game matures, he's going to be able to take apart a game a la what Delhi's been doing for the whole series. Now he just needs his teammates to ride with him. And so far, I got backstage a little bit to soak up the atmosphere. And I'm telling you, man, with Mason, HJ, them dudes, they are ready for the explosion there. We talk about when's the Chris Goldie game going to happen? I'm saying, where's the 115-point Hawk explosion? It's coming, and I think that now the stage is set for it.
Okay, so let's jump ahead to Sunday really quickly before we finish off. I want you to tell me in 30 seconds or less, the most important player for both teams on Sunday.
Derek?
I'm going to go with Tyler Harvey. He hasn't played poorly. He just hasn't shot the ball well. But Damon, I think he's getting to where he wants to get to with most of his shots. He's rushed some of them. If he can display a little bit of more patience in the catch and shoot and on the move 3-point shot attempts, he can be the championship game breaker in game 5 on Sunday.
And what about United?
For United, I'm going to go with Chris Golding. He loves the occasion. And he's playing with the guy in Dellavedova who understands how Chris needs the ball. So I think that CG is ready to bust out. And the matchup between those two is going to be outstanding. It's exactly what we want.
Give me, for the Melbourne United, the most important player is Jack White. Because Chris Gold, like I said earlier, you know what you're going to get out of Chris. It might not be a 35-point explosion. It'll be 17. It'll be somewhere in between there. You know what you're going to get from Delhi, a near triple-double probably. And Ian Clark is going to be very impactful. But you can't, 3 guys can't beat 10 guys. And the Hawks got way too many contributions. So Jack White, if Jack White comes to the party with anywhere between 15 to 20, 25, now it's a different story. But on the Hawks side, the most important player, you might scoff at this, is Trey Kell. If Trey Kell, which I'm hearing is going to play, he cannot come in there and disrupt what just happened. He's got to pick his spots, can't make it about himself. Not saying he's a selfish player, but he might try to have an impact on the game when they have just shown you they can win without you. Now you are the complementary piece. If Davo Hickey does what he's been doing, not only is the Hawks going to be the champions, but Davo Hickey will be Championship Series MVP.
I see. Well, I'm not going to ask you who you're predicting, Damon. But Derek, I do just need you to give us a prediction, please, if you could be so kind.
Jack, you know I can't help myself. I say stuff and I can't stick to it. I'm gonna go Hawks 92. Why you pumping your fist? I haven't even given you Melbourne United's score. You just know Americans say the winning team first. Hawks 92, Melbourne United 87.
5-point win.
Well, between now and then, we all need to rest our throats. And just before we finish, it's come across my desk that Damon Lowery is going to drive from Melbourne to Illawarra for Sunday's game. Is that correct?
Thought about running, but I'd have to leave at lunchtime today. But now I will be in the gong to witness history being made once again and to officially pass the torch to the new brigade, to this era of Hawks.
Well, Damon, I look forward to seeing you down there on Sunday. I anticipate a profound level of insufferability should the Hawks win this game. But good luck to you. And Jack, can't wait for it.
Cannot wait for Sunday. Massive thanks to everyone for tuning in, as always, on NBL Now. These editions have been a big hit throughout the Championship Series. Great work by you two. We just have to wait and see what happens next now.
In the gong.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for joining us on NBL Now.